guys. Welcome to Globaltreckers geocaching channel. We're looking for an FTF hidden by FX Bill in Douglas County, Oregon. Oh, very nice. Look at that. Let's see if it's got any signatures on it. Look at that, a blank log. This is day number 50 in my FTF Daily Challenge. There's a couple trinkets in here. Thank you, FX Bill. Pretty cool toy. I'm sure the kids will love it. I wonder who is #1 in the world for daily FTF streak. Welcome, Sparkyiv. Please share with our viewers a little bit about yourself.
How you doing? As far as myself, started this geocaching thing at 11/28/09, a day or plus. I don't know which it was there. It's done by my sister who talked me into it. Bet I would love it if I tried it. It did not turn out that way. Started off real bad, and after I got that first one under my belt, I was hooked. It was pretty amazing. I will say that a big part of this is because of fishing and GPSs and everything else years back that kind of makes you like this type of game. So anyhow, as far as why I did it that first time, I'm not going to tell you that, but it happened. I did win the bet though. And I've enjoyed it. It's been many a year now. I wouldn't even want to add, what, 11 years, 12 years? And man, I don't know. Something in that area.
Very nice. So you're sharing with us that your sister helped get you started?
She was actually caching at the time and just kind of did it on a bet. You got to try this. I know you'll like it, and on down the line. But turned out it wasn't. And of course, she quit. That left me in the middle of this, but I'll take over, no problem.
And then speaking of muggles, your sister now, I don't know if we consider your sister a muggle, but have you converted any muggles over to geocaching, shared the game with them?
I would say yes. Couldn't say that they're doing it now. I've talked many of them into trying. At that point, you may never see these people again. Far as someone coming back and saying, yes, I've done it because of you type of deal, there's one or two maybe, but otherwise I can probably tell you 15 or 20 that have actually looked at this app, or maybe looked at YouTube videos about geocaching or something of that nature. And as far as I'm converted, I'm saying that would be a conversion of some type to get them involved for that first time. And where it goes from there, it's themselves. But.
Right. So thank you for sharing with us about how you started and when you started, and about getting other people possibly started on the track for geocaching. Which leads me to the next question I have is FTS, which is the reason we're having this this Zoom meeting, and we're making this YouTube video. Is what motivated you to start finding FTS specifically in the everyday type realm?
Well, to start with was everybody wants an FTF. That just comes with geocaching. At that point, several months later, I was running a pretty good streak. I had 20 days, and it got busted up for reasons out of my control. But then at that point, it always leaves you wanting more. And the last time around, I've decided I'm going to do this one way or the other. And as the numbers start getting higher and higher, it gets to be more of a challenge and more competition involved and everything else, and it just makes you keep going. Nice.
And speaking of keeping going, is there a set goal, or I'm sure this is the big question for everybody. Is there a set goal, or is it just until you're not able to? What's that look like?
Well, yeah, I'm going to say let's call it not a set goal.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to go with as long as I got good health and there is one out there to find in what I guess I would call my range or time frame, however you want to call that, then I'm going to keep doing it. And like I say, so far I've been very fortunate, and there has been one out there every day. So some days more than that, and we go after them too. But hopefully it'll always be one there in range.
Okay. Has this goal that you just shared with the viewers, is that the same goal that you've had from the beginning, or is it kind of changed into this, well, I'm just going to keep going, like you just said, until you can't?
The game started at wanting to get 25 to get on top of a person I was after. And of course, once you get there, and then you got friends that say, well, why can't you keep going? And you think about it yourself, and the further along you get, I think it was at 81 or so that I took over the Texas record. And then it was one, don't quote me on the numbers, I'd have to go back and look back, but 101 or something were the United States. And then at 116, I believe it was, took over the world. Okay. So from that point, that record was mine. Now I have to keep it. So however long it lasts, I mean, that's, we got to go with it.
So speaking of the world record, let's switch over to the screen to view what Sparkyiv is talking about here. It looks like top FTF streaks in the world by days. We're looking at Project GC here, everybody. That's project-gc.com.
Okay.
Up here, first place right here, we see 330 currently, and that probably isn't counting the cache that was found today.
Right. It'll update tonight sometime, usually.
And then,
and it looks Red J right there is in second, and he's got one already today too. I've already checked his stats.
Okay,
hey, who's that other guy with the green down there a little ways there?
Yeah, let's scroll down and see what's going on here. So we have this right here.
That's the one I'm talking about right there.
That's yours truly. I'm actually on the front page of this thing. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's been quite a run just for my 43. So
well, it sounds like it your area, it sounds like it's a lot tougher to grab a first every day.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about what areas we live at versus me that lives in the mountains, and then yourself that lives near a city area, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, which leads me to the next question. Does Team Red J, speaking of Team Red J, the second place in the world, does that add some motivation? Having him so close?
The competition always helps the motivation side of it.
Right.
I was doing the same thing before I knew he was right behind me, like he is 47, I believe it is. Oh, I know that number in my heart, 47. And, you know, that being said, it's only another reason to keep going. And I know the guy personally, so it's kind of a challenge between us also as to who's going to give. We got a little bit of problems. He's had knee replacements and I haven't, and we talk about all of this all the time. It's pretty crazy.
Awesome. So which brings me my next question. What is the furthest you've driven or about for your for an FTF to keep this daily going?
For an actual FTF without anything else involved, down to Corpus one day, 155 miles, I think it was. I've driven a lot further, but it's a combination with other things. And that doesn't really count in the question you're asking. No, just the FTF, yes, 155 miles outside of Corpus. Okay. And that, of course, that's from San Antonio.
Right. So that brings me to the next question is, what has been the greatest challenge to keep the streak alive? Because that's a big challenge for lots of people, being able to drive that distance. What's the greatest challenge you've had?
Well, the distance in that case, yes, if you had to do that every day, it would be a challenge. But more so, and probably most important, is my work. I have to work for a living, and if you don't get something coming out real nice and early in the morning, which I've been very fortunate, and then go to work afterwards, if that doesn't happen, you get to work, you're not in a very good mood. But I do have a pretty understanding general manager, and he knows I've got several excuses on hold in case I got to get out of there quick. Possible emergencies, to say. We don't want to talk about them flat tires, dead batteries, and on down the line. No, never had a bad wreck or anything like that over it. Let's put it that way.
Nice. So speaking about work and challenging FTS, was there a day in your streak that it became less fun? That it became more of a chore? Anything like that?
Well, the chore is the difficulty on them at times. As far as the fun or become work or a chore, no, it's always fun. If you can go cash in and you get 1 or you get 20 or whatever, it's still fun. And whenever you lose that, then you may as well do something else. As far as the thing putting a damper on it, this morning is a perfect example. Pouring down rain, probably about 38 degrees with a 20-mile-an-hour wind. Most people would have just turned around and went home that day, or stayed in bed to start with. Of course, I can't. I got to go do it.
So, which leads me to the question about being a chore or not a chore. Thank you for sharing with us that it's not a chore. It's got to stay fun. Has there been other people who knew you were streaking and helped hide caches to make sure that you had something every day?
Well, there's people, everybody in town knows I'm running a streak. I mean, that you can't hide that. Mm-hmm. As far as someone hiding something just for me, no, they're hiding a cache for everybody that plays to go find. I tried my heart out to get there first. Like I said, it's may or may not happen sometimes. We've got to go for something else, but that cache is always hidden for everybody. It's not hidden for any one person. In this community here, wow, listen to that. I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to go for a second.
All right. We'll pause this and get back to you real soon. See you soon.
Boy, that was fun. Are you still there?
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back.
That was fun.
So what just happened? We didn't get much of a notice. What happened?
Well, emergency came up. Let's put it that way. First to find 4 miles away. How can you pass that up?
No way.
Of course.
Did you make it to first to find on that one?
I made the first to find. I got it. It was an easy one. Thank goodness. Especially in a rush. Of course, it doesn't do anything for my streak because I've already had that taken care of.
You've already done one for your streak, and this is just another one.
That's right. And if it happens again, we'll do it again.
Heck yeah.
I'm hooked on it. I like it.
We have plenty of time. We can always twice, and any time that you're gone, even if it's tomorrow, we can pick back up on this.
Oh, there you go.
So the next question I have is, well, first of all, anything you want to tell us about that FTF? Did anybody show up before you left, or?
No. I was actually lucky. Sorry for that cleaning my face there, but anyhow, actually lucky because it was so close that I was able to get there quick. There is other people out today, but I think they're kind of shy with the weather. It gives me a real advantage. Of course, it's not raining real bad right now, but it is still raining. So no competition at all on this one.
Yeah, that is a good separation between the people who are pretty serious about it, and then what do they call those? The rainy day catchers, the one that if it's rainy, they don't go out.
Yeah, kind of the fair weather fisherman thing.
Fair weather, yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So I would like to share my opinion real quick and then get your opinion. So in my opinion, an FTF for a daily streak takes great restraint. It takes planning, and I want to explain that. So where I live, it's nothing but mountains. There is a Interstate 5 that goes through here, but most people, from my experience, don't, when they see a FTF pop up, they don't divert their route to go up to Washington State or down to California. I have had one person check for FTFs along the way, then they take extra time and go if they're right alongside the freeway. But ones up in the hills, they just get left for, there's some since 2017 that are still unfound up in the hills outside of where I live in Southern Oregon. So
That is crazy.
yeah, when I say restraint is, I can't go find them all at once because then I won't be able to keep my streak going, even though it's a very small streak. So what I do is I find one that if I have time, I go for a long hike. If I have less time, I go for less of a hike. So that's my planning. Have you ever held off on signing geocache or finding an FTF and held it for another day so you could keep that streak going?
Well, I guess between or considering your situation and mine, I have to disagree with you. Here in San Antonio or around, the suburbs like this, if you sit on it 15 or 20 minutes, chances are you're going to miss it. So being able to hold one or think you're going to save it till tomorrow, not possible. Not possible at all. You have to get the one you got today and then hope like heck that something good happens tomorrow. It's all you can do.
Wow.
Yep, it's crazy. It's crazy. And when these things come out, it's I would say if it's 10 miles or less from your house, you better be out the door in 5 minutes. Otherwise, your chances are going to be slim to none on getting it first.
All right. So I completely see your perspective. And that's because you live in a fairly large population area, right? There's a lot of people out there that, and which increases the chances of geocachers watching the FTFs.
Yeah. And also, there is a good side to that too, is the fact that with so many people caching in such a big town, we have a better chance of caches publishing every day, right? Or more than one cache publishing every day. We have a lot of people playing. The area you're in, I don't know how many geocachers you would have there, but stop and think. If one out of 20 hides today, that means you might have 2 caches go out that day. We may have 15 go out, so it's like I say, you just got to stay on the ball and try to get what you can. And like I say, I'm hooked on that first to find hound stuff. I want them. So, the one new one every day, we're gonna get all we can.
Very nice.
And I will also go into a regular furry. If I'm out geocaching and a new one pops, my route changes. Doesn't make any difference what time of the day it is. My route's going to get changed to go get it. Then we'll get back on track.
Okay. So looking back before your FTF streaking, how is your playing of the game? Has it changed in regards to choosing which caches you're going after?
Back then, it didn't, first to find didn't mean as much. Yes, it was important, but if you were out geocaching through the day or you went out with some friends, just doing a casual, take it easy, enjoy yourself, cache run, then if one came out, you just pass it up. Hope it was there tomorrow. It's just one of them things. And now if I go out of town and I'm going with somebody, which doesn't happen right now because of COVID, and I've got some pretty rough restrictions here at the house on that stuff. So nobody riding with you, but when I got riders, they know if a first comes, our plans change. It's just the first has to be done first, and then we do the rest.
The casual can stop real quick and it can become pretty serious, right?
Oh yeah. We can make a U-turn. We can come back toward the house if we have to. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how that all works.
Yep, and you probably have a communication with the people that you're with that could happen. That's something that.
Yeah, they know when they get in the car with me how it's going to work. Uh, we got a bunch of them that like the first around here, so it's an agreement.
Nice. What advice would you give to someone setting an FTF daily streak? So they're looking at all the streaks that they have to overcome. What advice would you give somebody that's starting out?
Well, I guess to start with, mine and Ray J's probably would really cut some people off at the feet. They just say, no way, not possible. Well, guess what? I started at 1 also.
Right.
And you did. And the next guy that wants to try for this, he's starting at 1. And you just got to stick with it and hope for the best. And of course, you got to be ready to get out there. And it doesn't take good weather every time. You got to do no matter what, you've got to get out there.
Right. No matter the weather, you got to get out there. That's great advice.
Got to get out there.
Yep.
And you know, with all this other stuff going around right now, all the COVID stuff and everything, it's more important that you take care of yourself. And
right.
you know, you can't afford to get a cold right now because there went that streak.
Yeah.
You're going to be shut down for 14 days. You know, so
Yep.
got to take care of yourself and go get them.
So on that note, I've been thinking to myself, could I have started this streak without staying home? Sometimes I stay home and do work. Not very often though, because my work let people back in so we can go back to work. But do you think COVID had anything to do with yourself and others streaking?
Well, I had mine going already and
Okay.
doing real well when this all started back in March or April.
Right.
I had been running since probably the first week of February, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And I'm getting close. I'm getting close to that 366. But people that are in that time frame, you know, March, April, May, yes, a lot of these people did this because number one, it was number one, it was getting them out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And at a time like that, with all the COVID thing and locked up in the house, I mean, that was the thing. Boy, let's get out here and do this. And they were getting together and getting out there and enjoying themselves. Of course, they had more time to do it in. So now they're all getting back to work and everything's getting a little more normal, even though the COVID is not normal. It's still way out of hand. But like I say, people have slowed down again now. Yeah. On another note, the traffic is so much worse here in town compared to 3 months ago. We could run at lunchtime. We could have a blast. I mean, just drive across town in 15 minutes. Takes 45 now. That's anyhow, it's a plus and minus on the COVID part of it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So, yep, I see you did start this current streak on February 15th. So that was right before it got really, really crazy.
Really nasty. Exactly.
What are proper taught for FTFers who are going to go out in FTF and get a streak going?
Well, if it's around here, that you absolutely have to have a ladder, which is in that picture there, and then some sort of a pole, extendable pole, because my car is too little. But if you've got a 12-foot ladder and a pole that will stick out 15 feet or so, you will have a much better chance in San Antonio. I promise you that. Now, you go down to Corpus, you don't need neither one of them at this point. Although there's some people that are seeing and coming to San Antonio, and now they're starting to take that stuff out with them. So it's going to change a bit in other places. Normally, as far as tots, you know, a good flashlight, be careful while you're out there, have, you know, first aid kit and stuff like that. Plenty of water when you go out there. And the main thing is, don't put yourself in a bind. You know, be smart and don't hurt yourself, and everything will go fine.
Myself and some viewers may be wondering, is that extendable hook there, is that something we go down to Harbor Freight, or is that something that was modified to get to that?
Well, that one right there is a Walmart special. It is actually a golf ball retriever. and I
Okay.
took the end off of it and put that little hooky looking thing on there, and it works about as good as any of them. Yes, they do make special stuff for reaching, changing light bulbs on down the line. Some of them poles can get up in the 25-foot bracket or so. And on them days, I think I just got to pass them up. It's too far. But it's very rare that I have to pass one because I can't get it. What you don't see in that picture right there is another about an 8-foot walking stick that I use when we're in the mountains like you got every day.
Yep.
I'm talking little hills over here, but anyhow, if we need 8 more feet, I got duct tape in that pole that we can put on the bottom of that. So we'll get it somehow.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing with us a picture of your favorite tools of the trade. I really appreciate that.
Well, the ladder's not my favorite, but sometimes we got to use it.
Yeah, and it's compact. And you can pack it around conveniently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very nice.
Very easy. You can carry them pretty easy.
All right, which brings me to my last question. What is your best, most memorable memory while FTF daily streaking?
Oh man, I can't narrow that down to one.
Okay.
We've got probably the most enjoyable ones are the early morning, way before daylight, preferably better weather. Maybe 1, 2, 3 people might show up. You have coffee and everything else after the find. You talk about it. It's all just a real blast. A little get together before work will never hurt anybody. Right. Now, on the weird one, this is back when I was down in the 20s the first time around. I went out of town a little ways one night by myself, got about 40 feet off the road, and I seen the tracks going in, and it was some kind of wild hog tracks. And I'm in there searching for that thing, and I can hear these things snorting in the woods right next to me. So that's what I was saying. It might not be a good idea to go by yourself if you don't have to. Got out of it good, though.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing. So before we end this this interview, I would like to share a screen of what I look at as a map on geocaching.com to show the FTFs in my area. And if I can just look at that with you just for a few seconds so you can see what I see. And for viewers who may be new to FTFing, who've never done it before. So unless you need to get going right away, Sparky4, do you need to get going, or can you?
No, it's not a problem either way. It's
okay.
I wish I could do the same for you here, but I don't have the capabilities to look at a lot of stuff right now. So.
Right. So I'm gonna open up a new window here, and
you can surely open up a San Antonio screen and look at all the yellow dots if you want. But oh right. My gosh.
This is looking at my pocket query that I made for FTS. This is 1,000 geocaches radiating out away from my house over here. So I'm down here in Southern Oregon, and these are the FTFs that I currently have up in the hills. Now, mind you, these are high terrain reading.
Yeah.
These are up in the mountains. This is the interstate I was talking about. Yeah. And these are the ones that are all hikes. This one looks pretty close to the road, but I have to admit, I looked for this one and I can't find it.
The easiest one is the hardest to find.
Right.
Well, I'll feel for you out there because that's not a lot of caches, and like you're saying, but maybe I don't feel too bad. You got a fizzy challenge material right there, boy. You got DTs like that everywhere. It sure helps them fizzies.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to following your streak and into the many days to come.
Well, I appreciate that, and I hope that I can prove on my end that it will keep going. A lot of things come into play there, and I just hope that I can keep it going a little longer.